On July 3rd, 2021, there was a standoff between state police in Massachusetts and a group called the Rise of the Moors on I-95 at mile marker 57.4.
We've been out here since about 2 a.m. It's about 4 a.m. It's so we've been out here since 1:53 a.m. It is July 3rd, 2021. We are in North America, Morocco. We are on the Interstate 95 near exit 57.4. The mile marker is right near this police vehicle. We already assured them that we're going to be peaceful, so they have nothing to worry about. But the mile marker was right here. So that's where we are.
Now, if you're just joining us, this started about 1:30 in the morning, the side of 95 in Wakefield, just south of North Avenue. Two cars pulled over, a trooper pulled over, and it looked like these men were there. Then when he took a closer look, they were in what they described as combat gear, fatigues, had long guns. At some point, they were on the highway and they were holding a flag. We actually saw some of their video. This group, they call themselves Moorish American Arms, saying they are not anti-government, but at the same time, as State Police Colonel was just saying a little while ago, a lot of times their actions may speak differently than that. And right now, police are not taking any chances. We, by the way, do have some video, and I don't know if we can show it now, of an arrest that was made just before 7 o'clock this morning. Two of these members were walking along North Avenue toward a staging area where police were. And while they were walking there, they were both taken into custody. Colonel Mason saying one of them was armed, the other one was not.
Before we go any further, I need you all to understand something very basic about magic spells and incantations. The definition of spell is to form a word or words with letters. A spell is also a series of words that have magical powers. Spells combine symbolism, special materials, verbal incantations, the positioning of heavenly bodies, concentration, and faith into rituals to turn the practitioner's will into reality. You may remember a long time ago, I showed you an interview with Will Smith talking about magic.
I want to be an idea. You know, I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities. I want to represent magic, right? That you're in a universe and 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 only equals 4 if you accept that 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 is going to be what I want it to be. You know, and there's a redemptive power that making a choice has, you know, rather than feeling like you're at effect to all the things that are happening. Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way. It's like it's water. It wants to move and go around stuff, you know. So for me, I want to represent possibilities. I want to represent the idea that you really can make what you want. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, and I just believe that. I believe that I can create whatever I want to create. If I can put my head on it right, study it, learn the patterns, and you know, it's hard to put into words some real metaphysical, esoteric nonsense.
His name actually means to shape, form, and create through the power of one's will, desire, and intentions. It should be noted that the basic beliefs of this group, the Rise of the Moors, are derived from Moorish science. Science and magic are closely connected. We are told this much by the character Thor, the god of thunder and lightning.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same thing.
We are also shown this same theme in the movie Doctor Strange, who is a scientist that becomes a practicing magician.
And he is a scientist and he's very smart, but he has to let go, forget everything he thinks he knows, as Mordo tells him in the film. And so much of that is in the DNA of science and of the scientific method, pushing boundaries past what you may or may not know and accepting that you don't know everything.
That being said, let's talk about the name of the rise of the Moors and why it is so important to understand the true meaning of why this particular group was chosen for this orchestrated ritual event. Ephesians 6:12 tells us, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." John 12:31 declares, "Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out." The origin of the English term Moor is the Greek word marvel, which literally means black, blackened, or charred, meaning something that has been burned or blackened by fire. This word has long been used to describe black or very dark things. The name of this organization, the Rise of the Moors, then, is actually a reference to the rise of the Prince of Darkness. According to state police, the standoff began at about 1:30 a.m. on Saturday when a state trooper stopped to check on two vehicles that had pulled over in the emergency breakdown lane of Interstate 95 in Wakefield, about 15 miles north of Boston.
Now, if you're just joining us, this started about 1:30 in the morning, the side of 95 in Wakefield, just south of North Avenue. Two cars pulled over, a trooper pulled over, and it looked like these men were there. Then when he took a closer look, they were in what they described as combat gear, fatigues, had long guns. At some point, they were on the highway and they were holding a flag. We actually saw some of their video. This group...
The time, 1:30, gives us the number 13, the number of rebellion. The name Wakefield means a watch, as in a night watch or awake, and is a reference to a person who keeps watch during the night or the graveyard shift.
We've been out here since about 2 a.m. It's about 4 a.m. It's so we've been out here since 1:53 a.m. It is July 3rd, 2021.
Awake is also a social gathering associated with death, usually held before a funeral. The number 15 represents the devil, as proven by the 15th trump tarot card, which is the devil. The name Boston comes from Baltolf Stone, which is named after Botwolf of Thorney. He is regarded as the patron saint of boundaries and, by extension, of trade and travel, which connects him to Mercury, the god of commerce, magic or divination, travelers, boundaries, luck, trickery, and thieves, and who also serves as the guide of souls to the underworld. The men from the Rise of the Moors were traveling on I-95, which is an interstate highway that is used for both regular travel and interstate commerce, again connecting to Mercury, the god of commerce and travel.
It is July 3rd, 2021. We are in North America, Morocco. We are on the Interstate 95 near exit 57.4. The mile marker is right near this police vehicle. We have the right to peaceful journey. So, with that being said, we should not have been detained here.
It is important to note that Mercury is the same as the one-eyed Norse god Odin, and both hold sway over the dead, which is the reason this occurred during the night watch or graveyard shift. Isaiah 42:6 and 7 speaks about how the true Messiah is the light of the world and delivers out of the prison of darkness when it declares, I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thy hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. Darkness represents ignorance, evil, and wickedness, as well as death. The prisoners are those who are bound to sin and death, and the prison represents hell. Notice the flag that the men who are part of the rise of the Moors are holding up is the Star of Baphomet with a red background representing the fires of hell and Satan himself. Therefore, we can be sure that the name The Rise of the Moors is a magic spell or incantation that means the rise of the Prince of Darkness, the devil, from the bottomless pit. Don't believe it? Well, there's more information that proves this assertion. There were 11 men in total when this so-called standoff began. The number 11 points to the 11th horn and represents Antichrist. This is found in Daniel chapter 7, verses 7 and 8, which declares, After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Out of the original 11 men in this orchestrated standoff, 2 men were taken into custody first, leaving 9 still in the standoff.
An arrest that was made just before 7 o'clock this morning. 2 of these members were walking along North Avenue toward a staging area where police were, and while they were walking there, they were both taken into custody. Colonel Mason saying one of them was armed, the other one was not.
This was done purposefully to represent the numbers, both 11:9 and 9:11. Remember, Genesis 11:9 points us to the destruction of the Tower of Babel and the one world government of Nimrod, who had a spirit of rebellion and was a type of Antichrist. Genesis 11:9 declares, Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. The number 911 points to the reversal or rebuilding of the Tower of Babel, embodied by the Freedom Tower or One World Trade Center, which is 1,776 feet tall and points to July 4th, 1776, Independence Day, the American Revolution, in the spirit of rebellion, which just so happened to be the following day after this incident.
It is July 3rd, 2021.
As discussed previously, this connects to Obama's speech at the American Revolution Museum and his mention of 76 days, since 7 plus 6 is 13, the number of rebellion.
Tonight, I want to talk as plainly as I can about the stakes in this election. Because what we do these next 76 days will echo through generations to come.
The number 9/11 also points to the defiant letter Obama wrote on the beam that was placed at the top of the One World Trade Center, which declared, "We remember, we rebuild, we come back stronger." There are 37 letters in this spell, and as fate would have it, the standoff between the state police and the rise of the Moors group occurred on July 3rd, or 7/3.
It is July 3rd, 2021.
7/3, when reversed, is 3/7. Remember, the 3 sevens represent the lightning flash descending and points to the fall of Satan as the lightning from heaven in the phrase Barack Obama, as found in Luke 10:18. This connects back to the fall of the Champlain Towers and the mention of the sound of lightning and thunder as the building fell.
Well, first we heard a crash of lightning. I thought it was lightning. And it went on for 30 seconds, I'd say at least. And it was as loud as you could ever, the loudest thing I've ever heard. Now I know what a building collapsing sounds like.
I was sleeping and I heard the loudest thunderclap I ever heard in my life.
The number 9/11 also points to Obama's reading of Psalm 46, declaring himself to be God.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
Revelation 9:11 points to the rise of the king of the bottomless pit. Colonel Mason is the officer who gave the information concerning this incident.
Pleased and relieved to be able to report to you that at approximately 10:15 this morning, we were able to successfully resolve this situation through a combination of negotiation and some tactical maneuvers. As a result of that, we were able to place 9 individuals into custody without incident. They joined the 2 that had previously been placed under arrest earlier in the morning for a total of 11 arrests.
The name Mason is a reference to Freemasonry, an organization that worships Baphomet or Satan, which is the same symbol being held up on the flag by the rise of the Moors group. In fact, according to a book called Moorish Circle 7, The Rise of the Islamic Faith Among Blacks in America and Its Masonic Origins, the founder of the Moors, whose name was Noble Drew Ali, was a high-degree Freemason and Shriner who incorporated various Masonic teachings from an auxiliary group known as the Ancient Egyptian Arabic Order Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, a pseudo-Islamic Arabic Oriental organization that served as a wake-up call to a supposedly lost knowledge. We know that Freemasonry is nothing more than Satan worship, as proven by the statement made by 33rd degree Freemason Albert Pike that Lucifer is God. Therefore, when you see this Freemasonic offshoot organization called the Rise of the Moors that are connected with the theme of revolution and rebellion, holding up a flag with the Star of Baphomet on it during a standoff the day before Independence Day at 1:30 in the morning, again connecting them with the theme of rebellion and revolution, you know that this was all an orchestrated event. But wait, there's more. This standoff occurred on I-95 at mile marker 57.4.
But the mile marker was right here. So that's where we are.
I-95 gives us the all-seeing eye, and 9 times 5 is 45, which connects back to the 45 people that were killed in the stampede in Israel, and points to number 45, Michael Jordan, whose name means who is like God, the fallen one. Remember, 4 plus 5 is 9, and according to Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, the number 9 represents Satan. Notice the leader of this group makes it a point to tell us that they have been out on the road from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., which gives us the number 24 or 44 for Obama.
We've been out here since about 2 a.m. It's about 4 a.m.
He then gives us the time as 1:53 a.m.
It's so we've been out here since 1:53 a.m.
In the scriptures, the number 153 is a reference to the 153 fishes, which is found in John 21:11. The number 153, or the multitude of fishes, mystically represents the multitude of the faithful, which Peter and the apostles afterward caught by the net of evangelical preaching and converted to Christ. However, we know that in order to pervert the true meanings of things, Satanists invert and reverse the meanings. Aleister Crowley taught that a magician must train himself to think backwards. Therefore, in this satanic orchestrated event, the number 153 represents the multitude of fishes that will be caught in Satan's net by the evangelism of the apostles of Antichrist. It should be noted that 1 plus 5 plus 3 equals 9, again, the number of Satan. He then tells us that they are at mile marker 57.4.
We are on the Interstate 95 near exit 57.4. The mile marker is right near this police vehicle. But the mile marker was right here. So that's where we are.
Since the rise of the Moors are an Islamic group, mile marker 57.4 is a reference to the Quran 57:4, which states, "He is with you. He is with you wherever you are, and Allah is watchful of whatever you do." Quran 57:4. Remember, this occurred in Wakefield, a reference to a watch or wake in the grave shift or death. Who then is he trying to tell us is with him? Who is watching? The symbol of Baphomet in the reference to the number 9, death and hell, tells me it's Satan. Practitioners of magic are using their science to cast spells on the unsuspecting public to get the world to accept the rise of their false messiah, the rise of darkness, ignorance, evil, wickedness, and death. The prince of darkness, Satan himself in disguise. It won't be long now. If you have not given your life to the Most High by accepting the blood sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, Yehoshua HaMashiach, that was shed on the cross as a propitiation for the redemption of sins, the time to do so is now. Amen. Shalom.